So I got to give credit to the anti-corporatists for having having the savviness to understand what I was talking about with the sparest of hints. Yeah, I did in the last segment a little tease to say I'm going to talk about something that annoyed me with Biden, even though um, I ultimately like what he accomplished, and that was the way he accomplished it because I do think it matters. And it's the sick days for rail workers. If you're not familiar, here it is in a nutshell. Biden was negotiating with rail companies on behalf of unions, and the rail companies were negotiating hard. And if the strike would have gone through, if they would have shut down if the companies would have shut down rail services, if this, that, or the other thing had happened, would have been terrible for the economy. And you know what? Americans would have suffered. It would have been that sort of situation where you don't see it directly, but long term, you know. What was it in The Big Short? If unemployment goes up by 1%, 40,000 Americans die, or something like that. Okay, I that's worthy of consideration. And no, I'm not sure those are the exact numbers. I'm just saying there would have been suffering that we wouldn't have seen directly. So, in his desire to avoid that outcome, what did Joe Biden do? He took the sick days off the table in the negotiations with the rail companies, did a temporary agreement, and he promised the rail workers that he wouldn't let it go, that he'd come back to it later. I was hard on him for that at the time. I think I certainly, if I didn't say it out loud, I shouldn't get credit for not for like having a secret knowledge. I certainly thought it, but if I didn't make a big point of it on the channel, yeah, I didn't like it. Well, what happened recently? He basically got them what they were asking for. He got them more sick days, under very reasonable terms. And the issue I have with it, even though I ultimately agree with the outcome, I think the outcome was good. The issue I have with it is that he had to play this goddamn game again. He had to say, "Just trust me, and I'll take care of this." And the problem with that is that sometimes it's not good to trust these people. And always, we shouldn't have to trust these people. We shouldn't have to do these games with putting faith in our politicians. Faith is for the church, and it's a fine thing there. It's not a politician's place to ask for it. And oh, by the way, in between then and now, the Norfolk Southern crash happened. Largely because of avoidable issues. Yes, there was the issues with the brakes as well, but there was also issues with exhausted employees not doing their jobs correctly because they were overworked. And oh, by the way, there were multiple crashes. And in fact, we've learned these crashes are pretty common, and most often it's a combination of equipment failure and human error. Do I think I have the silver bullet that'll fix it all? No, but the general game playing where they say I'm going to make a backroom deal, just trust me, is less preferable to me than a president signing an executive order saying enough of this nonsense. I'm going to impose a deal that is favorable to these unions. And if you want to negotiate it, okay, I'll set a time that it will sunset this executive order because I'm declaring it an emergency because citing what will happen to the economy if there's this, that, or the other thing. I'd rather see him strong arm a big company than ask yet again regular folks to just trust me. And even if he proves to be trustworthy, hey, good for you, Biden. I mean, genuinely, it's a complisalt. I appreciate what he accomplished. I just don't appreciate the way he went about it, and I think it goes a long way into ensuring that we don't trust politicians. Because sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and you're asking us to simply be obedient and passive and to always let the politicians handle things. And we have found that in the long term, they just don't have our best interests in mind. It's like a casino. Even a game that's designed for the player to win 49% of the time, that's just to keep the player playing, because the house wins 51% of the time, and they know that on a long enough time scale, the house ends up making money and the people end up losing it. And as far as I view it, this negotiation Biden did, that was part of the 49% of the time that's meant to keep us passive. And we're sick of it. Collectively, we're sick of it. We have had the experiences now to see how this works on a long scale. And this thing where he's appeased one group of us after asking for their patience for reasons that will sound perfectly reasonable in the short term, in this specific scenario, it's not enough. Because the principle of the thing is what bugs me. And I know this will be used as an excuse to just demand trust in the future, as though it has been earned. And it hasn't been. It worked out now. I'm glad it worked out now. I'm glad he kept his word. There was no enforcement mechanism beyond an election for him if he didn't keep his word. And the thing of it is, in an election, there's a lot of things to consider. And I don't like giving them that power to decide which groups can I afford to lose to please other groups. I would rather this all be done out in the open. Well, just wear your heart on your sleeve. If you're a politician, I want you to wear your heart, stomach, liver, and colon, all of it, on your sleeve. I want to see everything you're doing, and I want you to act honorably and stop asking us for our trust. A great way for us to trust you more is to stop asking us to trust you at all. And by the way, let's not forget Brother Bernie was also involved in that negotiation. So I assume he was Jiminy cricketing quite a bit. And I thank him as well for his work there. Good call, anti-corporatist, my word.